Welcome to FantasyFran.com. Sports crazy Chris Barnes, and with me today, not Hall of Fame quarterback, but Hall of Fame analyst as far as I'm concerned. Our senior analyst for FantasyFran.com, sent from the heavens, Eddie Bevins. He's phenomenal, folks, and we're here to talk to you about the top 5 kickers for Week 13. Now, I know kickers can be a really, really exciting position, but I got to tell you, they play a vital role on our fantasy teams, and I got to talk to you about number 1, because if you had him last week, you were thanking the heavens right there.
That's right.
Because Sebastian Janikowski, I think he had something like 6 field goals.
It was a big day.
Oh, he was kicking them from all over the place. And of course, we know the guy has a historically huge leg. Okay, can kick him from anywhere. Went down with a hamstring injury a couple weeks ago. Was kind of curious. Is he okay? Is it still 100%? It's 100%, and it was obvious last week. He's going up against Miami this week. Miami's defense has played better than most people think. So I think this Oakland offense is going to move the ball down the field, okay? Michael Bush is running the ball great, but they're going to stall out the same way that they did last week, and Sebastian Janikowski is going to have himself a great day kicking field goals. But talk to me about this other guy at number 2, because he's kicked a whole heck of a lot of field goals. He's had a whole lot of attempts.
He's been great this year. It's Billy Cundiff in Baltimore. Baltimore wins with defense. And when you win with defense, it doesn't mean you don't always score a lot of touchdowns. Their offense is good, but not great. They're going to get you into the red zone, but they're not always going to be able to punch it in. And that's where Billy Cundiff comes in. He's a really solid kicker, playing on just the right kind of team that really maximizes his fantasy value. And going up against Cleveland this week. Cleveland's a team that plays decent defense, but they're not going to completely shut them down. He could have a really good week this week.
Okay. And our number 3 kicker is a guy that, for the last couple weeks, he's kind of been down a little bit lower because we've thought that the Green Bay Packers are mainly going to be kicking extra points.
That's right.
And they pretty much have. But Mason Crosby, we have at number 3 this week for the Green Bay Packers, going up against the New York Giants. Now, the New York Giants last week, they struggled, but they were going up against a great, great offense in the Saints. Now, Green Bay is a great offense as well. But the Giants, I think they have something to prove. They're going to step up their game. They're going to go ahead and stall out the Green Bay offense in the red zone. I think Mason Crosby has some more opportunities to kick this week. And Mason Crosby, folks, has been extremely accurate over the last 2 years, so we expect him to have a big day.
Definitely.
Talk to me about our number 4 kicker.
Number 4, we have Dan Bailey with Dallas. He's been just phenomenal this year. He hardly ever misses. And that Dallas offense has done a really good job of moving the ball, no matter who's playing. Felix Jones and Miles Austin go down, who cares? We'll just bring in DeMarco Murray and Laurent Robinson. It doesn't matter. They just have such a deep group of skill players that can just move the ball for Tony Romo and get that team into field goal position. They're going to score a lot of touchdowns and a lot of field goals this week against Arizona. Just a terrible defense. Again, we have so many of these really bad defenses going up against the really good offenses, and it's creating some big opportunity, big high-scoring game opportunities, really, for some of these kickers.
Yeah, and our number 5 guy is a guy that I almost feel dirty putting at number 5 because I'm not an enormous fan of Nick Folk. Nick, I love you, buddy, but in terms of a fantasy perspective, he hasn't been a guy who sees the field, 2, 3, 4 times a game to make it worth his while. But he's going up against Washington, and we've made a lot about kickers against Washington's defense. Washington has a pretty solid defense, but they're a defense that'll allow you to move the ball into position to go ahead and kick field goals. Now, that's asking a lot, even with a Mark Sanchez-led football team, but I think that they will go ahead and get the ball down the field and provide Nick Folk more opportunities to go ahead and kick field goals.
That very could be.
I got to ask you, is there anybody outside of the top 5 that maybe has been a little bit lower on our list the last couple of weeks that you expect to have a big day this week?
I think a guy who's not totally on the radar really is Rob Baronis in Tennessee. He's got a big leg. We've known that. We've seen him kick some just mammoth field goals during his career. But that Tennessee offense, it's been up and down, shall we say. I mean, it's this year, Chris Johnson's up, he's down, he's up, he's down. The passing game with Hasselbeck is up and down. I think Baronis could be in line for a really good game this week. He's a guy I think I would put in the lineup, even though maybe in previous weeks you would have had him and not worried about it. This might be a week to put him in, I think.
Okay, and you know there's a kind of a storyline that I'm following as well, as much as you could want to follow a kicker storyline. But it's what's going on in Miami. Dan Carpenter had been the kicker pretty much all year long. He tweaks his groin, and then they bring in Shane Graham. Shane Graham has been a great kicker for years, and he comes in, and last week he had himself a really, really nice day on Thanksgiving, and I think he's kicking himself into a starting role. But here's the thing. If he's just filling in for Dan Carpenter and Dan Carpenter comes back, that's one thing. But if Shane Graham keeps kicking the way that he's kicking, I think he kicks his way into a starting role with this Miami team, and this Miami team is playing better. And guess what? Shane Graham could be a very, very valuable kicker addition to your fantasy football team. I know that may be a stretch.
Just in time for the playoffs.
Exactly, exactly. So be on the lookout for that. He might be available in your league, and it might be worth a pickup. So these are our Week 13? Week 13 kickers, and we hope that they help you win your fantasy football league. But we appreciate you joining us here at fantasyfran.com.